I was starting to ask Alexandra a question. I think, so the tennis player, the grip is your interface with your equipment. So it's very important. The more you play tennis, the more you wear out your grips, the more this is valuable, but also the more sensitive you are. Have you ever started to answer, use Wilson grips? Have you ever changed the grip on your tennis racket to a different brand that you've never used and played tennis with it? And is it something that would affect your?
So I usually do use Wilson. I think I've used one other brand before, I think once, but I don't think it's necessarily the sensitivity. It's more how grippy you want it, or how, because there's grippy ones and then there's a smoother kind of sandpaper without the roughness kind of. But it just depends on your preference.
Okay. And I think when you're doing your prototype, you should consider if there's the possibility of different tackiness or whatever they call it.
Yeah, that's one of the things we want to do with our prototype, is we want to make different versions that are if people want it more grippy, if they want it less grippy, if any preference. And that's also why we're doing our post surveys to see if they have any other preferences or any other questions.
You also want to put textures onto it. So as you saw in the other one, they had a honeycomb texture. We want to put different variations on it.
I think you guys' presentation and research was very, very thorough and very good. You went into detail for Tam and Sam and the market research in depth, how you were explaining exactly what $50 gets you with Instagram, very thorough. I'm struggling with the product, right? Installation is a big part of the grips, right? So you could sell grips all day. I've never regripped my my paddle or pickleball or even my golf clubs, right? It's so when I need it, I just go to whoever's selling it, right? I think you identified that by saying you got to work with Dick's and country clubs and all of that, but how does, and then it's rubber versus leather, and I'm sure it's a very different process to change the grip. So you have to educate your partners, right? Because it's not a self installing product, is it?
No.
You just stick it on there? No, you have to
it's kind of like a glove. We want it to slide on there instead of having to wrap it. Because for me, a lot of my teammates, they don't even know how to do it. We just ask our coach. So this will be easier installation for our customers.
That's a huge, then that needs to be in there in May, right? That if that's it's hey, this is a self installation because you don't need a pro to wrap it and tape it and and all that. And then are all rackets the same exact thickness and handle? I don't know if that's regulated. I'm not.
It's 4 different.
They're kind of around there, but you usually use the same grip for any racket, and then you just cut it to however.
Existing grips.
Yes.
But your grip that is a no installation would need multiple sizes.
Yes.
Okay, so that include that too, because this is another thing. You'll have multiple SKUs as opposed to somebody who's selling cowhide grip. It's a single grip and it's wrapped or whatever around the different handle thicknesses. So that's a big differentiator to me. If you're getting somebody into hey, you don't need to buy and install and take this to a store, I can ship you a grip and you can just stick it on yourself. If that's doable and feasible, to me, that's a big differentiator. And as an investor, that should be front and center of your presentation.
Does your price point compare to the Wilson where you're wrapping it versus this that slips on?
Oh, Wilson grips is it's only you pay $3 just to get one wrap around your grip. But sometimes tennis players like Alexandra here, she replaces it multiple times. That could be even $3 to $6 just 1 week you're spending on replacing your grips. So with our product, you only have to buy it 4 times a year with $20 and it'll last you 3 months.
Okay. So if you look at it as a cost per match, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, a lot cheaper.
Think of a way to present that cost over that cost differential.
And it does save you the time of not having to constantly wrap it.
What was the ask? Should we go back to the ask?
What was the ask again for?
$450.
How did it break down? I don't know if you can go back or not. But
Back in the
Prototype was 300,
prototype.
email 100, Instagram 50.
The email list, you know, I've bought many email lists and it, you know, they're awful, they never work. What's the reason that you need a list? Is this a very specific targeted list in your target market, or is it just a general, like a regional or geographical list? Explain about that a little bit.
Well, we're targeting, because our SAM was very, very specific.
Yeah.
So with the email list, we need, I mean, we're not targeting a big area. We're gonna go very specific on the people that make over 100K.
Okay, so that email list is as specific as your
Yeah, as our-
target, as your
yeah.
small target?
Yeah.
And that exists to buy?
Yeah.
And it's $100? Okay.
What's the from the pop-up shop, so what's the takeaway for people visiting the pop-up shops?
They actually get like a hands-on experience and will be able to reach more audience that actually play.
What do they take with them?
We'll have like certain like flyers about like emails. We hope to have like our prototype to for them to like feel and like
Okay,
see how
but
it.
I'm guessing maybe instead of email lists, maybe printing up some nice postcards or something like that with QR codes on them and things like that that'll
If you're
direct
gonna
it.
pop up.
Because you want them to, this is great, how do I do it? Well, just scan this QR code over here and then they'll forget and all that kind of stuff, just give them something that they can take with them.
I would definitely, I mean, 450 is fine, but I'd rather have you spend 400 on prototyping than 300 on prototype and 100 on email, because I think this is such a, you know, you should.
Lots of iterations.
Yeah, there's a lot of different iterations as you start to design this and make it, and things you're not thinking of until you make your first one, and then you're gonna use a lot more material than you think you'll make, and it's something that people won't buy unless they have, you know, some sense of what it's gonna look and feel like. So I'd rather you spend more money on design, you know, and that, and less money on.
But we're good for 450?
Yeah.
450?
450.
All right, 450.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Good job, guys.
Item 5, we got 1 minute.